Ain't no how stepping with Marcus J. Thank you so much for staying with us. Want to, at this time, profile a missing and or exploited child as we do every single week. We've got the child this week is Shambria Sherman. Shambria Sherman, I'm getting this from Black and Missing Foundation at blackandmissinginc.com. Shambria Sherman is an endangered runaway whose date of birth is August 19, 1997. She's been missing since September 22nd, 2013. She's 16. She's missing from Columbia, South Carolina. Black female, medium complected. She's 5'1", weighs 108 pounds. She's got black hair, medium length black hair with brown eyes. She doesn't wear any glasses or anything. And she was last seen at her home in Columbia on Berkshire Drive. The circumstances of her disappearance is unknown. What she was last wearing is unknown. And if she's got any identifying marks or characteristics are also unknown. But if you have seen young Shambria, I'll have her picture on all of our Facebook pages as well as the Legacy Internet Radio Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J fan page before the end of the show. Contact the National Center for Missing and or Exploited Children on their website, missingkids.com. Contact the blackandmissinginc.com website or call up missingkids.com by phone at 1-800-THE-LOST, 1-800-843-5678. Definitely, please make sure you bring home our missing children. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Definitely glad that you guys are still with us. I want to kind of transition SY. I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the in Washington. I also want to talk about what's going on in Washington. You got a whole bunch of people. Actually, before I go into that, looks like I got a call here. So hold tight with me just now, folks. I'm gonna go ahead and, seeing as though Big Group's not helping me out here, I'll do it myself and get the caller here on the live line. Caller, I see you here waiting for me. Just bear with me for just a moment. I'll get you set up here on the live line with us. Caller, what's your name and where you calling from? Ain't no half stepping, Marcus J. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Caller? Caller, you still with us? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Is it dead? No, the speaker.
Okay. I don't know. Caller, you still with me? Caller, you there? Okay, caller, Big Roo, work on getting this caller squared away. We'll go ahead. Caller, you there? Hello? All right, we're done. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. We're going to move on. Call Big Roo, get the caller straight, and then we'll get the call on the line. Okay.
Go for it.
Caller, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, who do we have on the line with us?
Yeah.
Who do we have? What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Can you hear us? Get them straight, Roo. We'll come back to it. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. All right, that's why I want to talk to you about what's going on with the Affordable Care Act, okay? Because you got a lot of people in the country who don't have issues with the Affordable Care Act, but they despise Obamacare. Do you know what the difference is?
No. Is
there a difference?
I didn't think so.
I didn't think there was much of a difference either, which is odd because you've got 46% of the respondents oppose Obamacare, but only 37% of the respondents in a poll oppose the Affordable Care Act.
And for the ones who are opposing the Obamacare Act, what are they saying the difference is other than the obvious difference?
Well, that's the whole point of what I'm bringing up here. And that's the thing, because there's a positive approval rating that jumped 7% from 22 to 29 when it's called Obamacare, which is odd. It's odd because you've got these numbers that don't jive for the exact same thing. So what it sounds like is when you attach Barack Obama's name to it goes down. That's when the poll numbers seem to go down. Mm-hmm. And that tells me that the people who are driving the discussion are the ones who are driving the public the public sentiment on it. And so, Toyana, let me get you to jump in here. We know that Congress has been trying to work to get certain provisions in Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act knocked out. And apparently they've been unsuccessful to the point where at midnight tonight, we're going to lose a lot of funding with regards to certain programs. They call it a government shutdown. There are a lot of things that people ain't going to get paid. Now, they did work it out so the military people going to get their money. They're going to get their money. But everybody else or everything else, like, new enrollments for Medicare, passports, things of that sort. TSA is going to have some issues. You're going to have a lot of things going on. So, Chiana, let me get you to jump in there. What's your thoughts?
I think that, I definitely agree with you that, unfortunately, the president we have doesn't have the support. And then if he can't even put his name on it, then it's a challenge. It bothers me that Oprah Winfrey has a lot more clout
than the president.
Than the president.
Exactly.
She can sell. Oprah can have some Yankee candles, and the whole United States will buy that same Yankee candle. But I think that if they do change it, as long as the contents are still going to support the individuals who need it, then I'm for it. I'd rather for it to just, if it's just a name, a character change, just so everybody can benefit, I'm for that. But if they're just, so busy trying to dissect it and rebuild the wheel, really. Then I have a problem with that. But
what cracks me up though? What cracks me up is when you get the people who are the ones making the decisions. These are the same people who don't want to have themselves affected. You know what I mean? And we got to fight with them to come to DC to have these votes. When tonight you gonna have some people that's seriously affected. Ain't no how Steppin Marcus. I think we got the caller situation squared away. Caller, are you still with us?
I'm still with you.
All right. Here we go. All right, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Legacy's own DJ Renee Melendez. How are you guys?
Oh, what up? See, you mean to tell me I'm having all that trouble with you, girl?
That's me.
Oh, my bad. That's my fault and Ruben's fault. I'll take most of the blame. I won't throw Ruben under the bus. That's my bad. Glad to hear from you. Glad to have you on the line. Why don't you, before you get in on your comment, why don't you tell the Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J listeners who you are and where they can find you?
Hey, so Jersey's own DJ Renee Melendez, and you can check me out every Saturday from 7 to 9, keeping it deep and soulful, right here on Legacy Internet Radio.
That's what it is. So what you want to get on with what we talking about tonight? We got a lot of topics on the floor. Go ahead, go for it.
I got a couple of things to throw at you. First of all, I want to just backtrack a minute to the Sikh gentleman. Now, I work here in Jersey, and I'm a professional barber by trade. And we have a lot of different ethnicities come into the shop, to get their hair cut. Some are Sikh, some are, Pakistani, different Middle Eastern descent. And I find here in New Jersey that they are some of the most rude people. Now, I'm not going to disagree with you and say that I don't understand their plight as a black person being singled out and having racism thrown towards me. Because as now, with this profession, I get it more often than not. But the thing about it is if I know that you are affected by racism because of your head wrap, whatever religious pins you need to wear, and you know that I'm affected by racism because I'm a black person in America, and it's just hard being a black person in America. How dare you look down at me and talk to me like I'm a rat crawling in the street? And at that point, any respect that I have for you has now gone out the window. Because we need to learn to be civil towards one another and deal with the plight of racism as mankind, not as individual groups of people.
I can dig it. What's your next point?
Okay, and then just to talk about this whole government shutdown thing. Now, I don't know if any of you recently saw my post. My question to the universe is, how is one of the wealthiest nations on this planet going to shut down because they can't get along with each other and they can't organize things better and be civil and do what's best for the people? It makes absolutely no sense. Mind you, the minions who work in the government, like Homeland Security and the passport people and all the FDA and the DEP and all of that stuff, they all have to take IOUs. How do you tell somebody who has to feed their family, pay college tuition, you know, they may have a special needs child that may need certain prescriptions and etc. Oh, I can't pay you this week because I can't get along with a Republican.
That's a serious.
Well, the Republicans gonna say, I can't give you your money. You worked. You put in your 40 hours, but I can't pay you this week because guess what? I don't like the Democrats and I don't like what they're proposing to do. And then all the while, they're all getting paid. So any of them that have special needs kids, they're taken care of. Any of them that have college tuitions, they're taken care of. They don't care about the American people. None of them do. Not the Democrats, not the Republicans.
I think once we get to the point where we realize that everybody has a job, and there's some people that take their career serious versus going to work every day for a job, there's a very clear, distinct difference between the two. I was talking to a brother tonight before I came in, and we were talking. He's an educator, and he was telling me about some of the plights that he has and how he loves his job as an educator. But I also know some people personally who go to work as educators because it's their job. It's a difference. And so I apply that concept to the folks in Washington. There are some who literally get hit to the fact that they can make $100,000, $200,000, whatever it is they make, and have, you know, health insurance for their families and all that kind of stuff. And it's a job for them versus those people who view it as a career, who are actually there to actually do something for the constituents that they work for. It's real easy and it's real quick for them to throw out this whole thing about this is what I'm hearing from my people. But the reality is you got a lot of these same people that are misinformed. I just mentioned a few minutes ago, Renee, about the poll numbers where you got a lot of people who oppose Obamacare, but when you rephrase it and call it the Affordable Care Act, those same people don't oppose it no more. When it's the same thing, but when you attach the name of the black president, to it, the same black president who is able to get health care for the country that never had it before ever. The closest we ever got was in the FDR administration. That's crazy to me. Renee, real quick, give me your last thought. Tell us how we can find you one more time before we let you go.
You all can find me on Legacy Internet Radio Saturday nights from 7 to 9, keeping it deep, keeping it soulful, and always keeping it house.
That's what it is. Ain't no how stepping with Marcus J.
Renee.
Thank you so much for calling. Sorry about that technical difficulties. That was all on my shoulders. But we love you, girl. Thank you for calling in.
Love you guys back. Take care.
Ain't no how stepping with Marcus J. Toyana, jump in.
Yeah, I just want to say, Marcus, we have to be accountable too. We have to remember that when we're out voting, that we're not just voting for the president. We're voting for the individuals that, go back to what you just said, it's either their career or their job. So I think that hopefully this will be a lesson learned. Probably not. But we have to understand that these people just didn't go and apply. These people were voted in. These people had money to market themselves and had people to believe in them, that they had their backs or their ideas. So we have to understand that these individuals are voted in. They didn't go through a job interview process. So if you put them there, then you have to rely and believe that they have your support. And that's when politics is what it is.
Big Robe, we haven't gotten you in on the subject. What's your thoughts, man?
I mean, it just goes to the plan of let's not educate the important people. The less important people, and just throw this quote unquote negative stigma on the same thing. It's just like saying that saltine crackers are saltine crackers, but if you put Murphy's saltine crackers, it's like, oh, Murphy got it? Oh, it's great then. Even the same stupid cracker, and that's not a pun.
Like peanut butter on mine.
That is not a pun.
Sure, peanut butter. On my
but as we talked about during the election, we talked about the states that voted for Obama, the states that didn't, and the education of those locations. So, I take it back to that when basically, hey, the people, and I hate really to say it like this, the lack of education makes people scream more before or do things before thinking, because as people are educated, instead of just jumping the gun and look both ways for crossing the street, I'm just gonna, some uneducated people, you tell them something, they just run with it without thinking about it, and that's what usually happens. And that's the cry for this is wrong or whatever always comes from the people who don't know what the hell's going on. It never comes from the people who are intelligent or, hey, let me take a look at this or stuff like that. You don't hear them yelling and screaming. You hear them, hey, look, this isn't right because this, and this. But the people who are yelling and screaming and just want to make a scene are those who don't understand. They don't know because they have not done their due diligence. And they basically said, yo, man, that girl over there was talking crap about you. You should go smack her. What? They're talking about me? You didn't even investigate. You ready to go smack her because somebody told you that. And that's the same type of logic that's being done here.
Right. Ain't no half stepping on Marcus, Jay. We're getting a hit in social media. Priscilla says that our country isn't wealthy with trillions of dollars in debt. I'll disagree with that and say that we got 1% of people who hold all the money. And, if we disperse that money properly, if we tax the people who have the money properly, you will find that we've got a surplus of money. We had a surplus of money 2 administrations ago. It was the last administration that destroyed the economy of this country with a unpaid for war that was built on a lie. And the current administration that has dug us out of a lot of that, basically redone the economy to get us to a point where it's respectable again. But at the same time, the reality is if we redid our tax code here in this country, you would find that a lot of the debt that we have would be redistributed to the point where we wouldn't have any debt at all. And so when you look at our standing in the world, technically, yeah, you can say that we have debt, but it's kind of like, if you look at your own house and you say that I got this bank account right here with $1 million in it, but I got all of these people sending me late notices, but you know what? I'm not touching this $1 million over here no matter what. But I only $500,000 in debt. So if I take that $1 million that's over there and I applied it properly, I won't be in debt. I'll actually have more money than I need. But nope, I'm not touching that $1 million that's over there. When you think of it that way, you realize how crazy it is in this country when you've got big companies and big corporations that you refuse to tax. You give them tax breaks and all this crap, but at the same time, you take the middle class and you throw in all of the debt and all of the weight on the shoulders of those people. Stephen is saying that they want to shut it down, but if we don't pay our bills, we go to jail or don't eat. Many don't bother to research other officials who are running their office. They just check down the same row who is under the president, which I 100% agree with that, Stephen. I think you definitely onto something. I had this conversation with someone recently when I was in my hometown of Jersey City, New Jersey this weekend. We talked about how people don't even pay attention who's running. It don't even freaking matter who's running. It's blood or cuz. That's all it is, which, if you that's a little street lingo for blue or red, but I'll leave it at that. Ain't no ass stabbing Marcus. All right, we're going to have a little fun going on from here. From this moment forward, it's 8:25 here on the East Coast. From this moment forward, we're going to take a little bit a different turn. We had some political stuff. We had some racial stuff. We had some fun stuff. Now I want to ask the ladies in the room, and I want to ask the ladies that are listening to us in social media. There was an article that I read, and I actually heard discussion about on, that's why I mentioned Warren Ballantyne. I listened to his show on Friday, and I was listening to Shauna Renee, who has a show on the weekends. 2 different shows, and I had already planned on talking about this before I heard those 2 shows, so I'm a little annoyed that they got to it before me, but we're going to get into it anyway. I'm getting this one from healthyblackwoman.com, and the byline says, amazing why black women are putting vaginal cream in their hair. There's a new hair trend that is gaining popularity, and it's a little unconventional. Women are often losing hair when it becomes a cause for concern when growing older. So what exactly are women putting in their hair to help with hair loss? Monistat. Yes, you read that right. They're using the vaginal infection cream to stimulate hair growth on the scalp. Definitely unconventional, isn't it? Yes, it is. Monistat, also known as mycozole nitrate, is a cream that is used to treat fungal vaginal infections. It is also antifungal, so it can be also used on oral thrush in babies, ringworm, athlete's foot, angular cheilitis, and jock itch. It is also most commonly used to treat yeast infections and vaginal itching and burning associated with infections. So I think I've got it properly set up. So I'm gonna come to the ladies first, and judging by the looks on the faces, I see Chiana has the most interesting look on her face. So based on the look on your face, Chiana, I'm gonna come to you on this first. My guess is based on how you giving me the side eye, you ain't heard this story. But now that I've got it set up, why don't you ask your questions if you got questions, or just kind of comment. What's your thoughts?
Right here.
What the hell? I mean, really? Are we really going there, like, right now? And then, Rube, you over here twisting and all this. Okay, first of all, I've never heard this. Secondly, as a woman, I don't find any woman would just freely want to walk into a store and have to purchase that in front of everybody else.
Why not? You buying pads and tampons and condoms. So, I mean, you ain't got to tell the people in the store where you're putting it.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's just private. I mean, Ruby, looking at
but
me.
how do you? I mean, all right. Well,
I
don't want to take this.
I
don't want to take this in.
I mean, you have to, but you know, yeah, they have a glass case now, so you have to go and ask.
I don't want to take this in a direction
case.
that I didn't initially want to go, but I do feel like I need to address what you're saying. If you need the product, then how else are you gonna get it unless you go in the store and tell these people what you want?
I understand.
I mean, it's not birth control. It's not like a
Even
birth
if it
control thing.
was.
Check, see if you
Okay, guys. Okay, so see.
Go there.
You're playing. I'm going there.
Go
so
there.
if I was
You
in
here to go
Harvard
there.
and you're behind me, and you see a big old box, because they're not small.
Tell a big old box of
Monistat. Some chewing gum, some chewing gum,
and some bonbons.
And some Red Bull. Your eyes are gonna gravitate to what?
All right, well, let me ask you this. I know you asked Rue, but I'm gonna just throw a wrinkle out there. Why you give a damn what people think? I mean, seriously, Rue? I mean, she asked you.
Okay. I'm just like,
she asked you, but I did feel like it was.
You want to ask first if he thought you was attractive and he was going to talk to you,
yeah,
and then he saw that
Monistat. Monistat, pack of gums, Red Bull.
Real talk.
What are
you know what that means to me?
In fact, anybody out there, tell me what you would think.
You know what that means to me? I'll tell you what that means to me. They tell me that if I do approach you, I just know that I ain't getting some for a while. That's what that means to me.
So you would still go after the bait?
I mean, what's the bait? Because at that point in time, I know I ain't getting any, so it's got to be all about you. See, you got it. See, you're thinking the negative side.
But putting it, okay. Do you not know what it is? The put it in your hair.
I know what Monistat is. Yes, I'm old enough to know that.
It doesn't even. Even if you use it down there, it's not even going to fit on the hair part.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Well, matter of fact,
but it's not the point that you do it. I think the issue here is
we're missing it. Yeah.
Yeah, you completely. Y'all are taking it in a direction.
Well, no, I'm about to put it back on pathway. But my thing is, the issue is not the fact that you're buying it. It's the fact that you're putting it somewhere other than the vagina area of your body. You're putting it on your head. And, you know, that's a little freaky. I mean, I don't understand why you would put that on your head. However, the chemical says that you would need to do that if you choose to do that. I mean, to me, you know, I just would not want to, me personally, what you put in your, well, you putting cream in your head? Now I'm putting some Monistat 7. No, I ain't trying to have that conversation.
That's why, let me get your comment before I comment.
It's very popular. It is extremely popular.
Put Monistat 7 in your hair?
Put Monistat 7 in your hair. It helps promote growth. No, my hair grows very lovely. Thank you. However, whatever it is, whatever is in it that kills a bacteria, it has to be whatever it is that causes your hair, for you to lose hair, which is the object behind it. People who are losing hair, okay, to help keep your hair, to help your hair grow, whatever the fungus is or whatever the bacteria is. Why are you doing that?
But here's
doing it. I'm not looking at him. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Spot.
What's up, Mark?
I mean, here's my thought on it, because I've had this conversation the last couple of days with various people, and I've listened to comments of people on two different radio shows that have helped me kind of formulate what my opinion is. So here's what I think. First of all, who knows what the hell you're doing at home? If you decide to buy this product and use the product for a way that's different from how it's originally marketed and is giving you results in a different way, then whose problem and whose business is it?
People do that all the time.
That's one. Right, I agree. That's one. Two, the last time you got sick, whoever you are, 804-402-2893 is the phone number to dial. Hit us up in social media. Whoever you are, the last time you got sick, you went to the doctor and you got the same antibiotic for the same thing that for whatever it was that you got different 2 months ago or 6 months ago, whatever. They give you the same freaking medicine for like 100 different things. So if you can understand that concept, then how different is the concept of using the product that's marketed as vaginal cream if you're going to get a benefit in another way?
Here we go. Here's an example, and here's an example that I do. Name some reasons you use vinegar. I rinse my hair with it. Okay, it's people use it to cleanse the house out. However, I use it as a rinse in my hair because it cleans the hair. Okay, so who's to say what the Monistat? I mean, it doesn't matter.
I mean, honestly, I think the situation here is the fact that there are some people in this world who are scared to. It's not about the use. I don't think it's the fact that it's public knowledge now, and then then you have an educated brother like myself. Am I gonna really care what you do with it? Unless I see you doing it, I'm still not going to care because you're obviously doing it for a reason. I think what it is like women are scared that, I'm going to go buy his Monistat 7. And like she said, some fine dude is behind her. You getting the stuff for your hair, and it's like, it looked like your stuff look dirty.
All right, I got a couple of hits.
Thank you.
Couple of hits on social media.
But I want you to clean it.
Okay, hold up.
A couple of hits on social media. Priscilla saying, first of all, she's laughing her ass off. People put preparation H around the eyes to get rid of puffy eyes.
Yep.
Stephen is saying most black women won't lose their hair if they leave the relaxer alone, stop wearing so many wigs and tight weaves pulling their scalp. And Joy said that if it was up to her, she'd be bald.
Thank you, Joy. I agree too.
I questioned her and I asked her why. What would her reason be? And she said that she didn't know. So that's fine. If she doesn't know, that's fine. But I want to address the people in social media. At first, Priscilla, yep, absolutely. I've heard the preparation H on the eye thing.
Yep.
Yes. Stephen, I think when you say stuff like that, you set yourself up to get clowned by the ladies. All the ladies don't necessarily use.
In fact, we don't have weave on here.
The weaves and relaxers. Now, for the record, Stephen, I don't want to pick on you. For the record, I don't like all that stuff no more than you do. I think that when you're putting in the chemical, the perms and all of that kind of stuff, I think you set yourself up for a negative situation. But I don't know what wearing a wig has to do with that, because it's basically a fitted hat without the Yankee emblem. And then tight weaves pulling the scalps back. I mean, a tight weave ain't nothing but like what. The stuff that they, when they put, what do white women do when they put
Botox?
Botox, yeah. That's all the weave is. It's
permanent
Botox for the sisters. They just pull your face back like that. Like that.
And we can flick our hair at the same
Well,
exactly.
you have two women in here that don't do either.
I
Thank
agree.
you.
So thank you.
I agree.
Natural.
We got two natural women in the room, but my question though, and Toyana, I'm gonna ask you on this one, and I know Stephen, I know you didn't say all women, and again, I like to pick on you, and you like to pick on me. That's our relationship, my brother. I'm not picking. Well, I guess I actually am picking on you, but I know you didn't say all women, so let me just make that clear. Toyana, I'm gonna ask you a question, just based on a comment that you had made earlier, as far as buying the product in the store with a brother happens to be standing there behind you who happens to see what you're doing. Two-part question. One, if you've done your homework and research and you found that as bizarre as using this product in your hair may seem, you've heard and you've seen situations where it has been successful based on your research, why wouldn't you use that if you felt that it could help you and you would choose not to because you wouldn't want the brother in the store to see you buying it? I mean, help me understand that.
No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that I understand what the product is. We've, as women, I mean, whether you clean or not, every woman has had to have a situation that she's had to buy that box, no matter what, whether it was tight jeans you're wearing or you getting ready to have birth of a child or whatever the case may be. Every woman, unfortunately, has had that dilemma at one point in their life. And so, but what I am saying is that to use a product that you know is used for something else and you're using it in your hair, I just have some I guess, feeling about if I did use it, it would be none of y'all's business. I mean, that right there is now out. But yeah, I mean, call me sociable, a little conscious. Yeah, I do kind of have a look over my shoulder if somebody's looking. Yeah, a little bit. I do. I don't like. I mean, there's certain things I do buy in a store that I kind of, hide on the side, or I may not want anybody to know I'm eating Chunky Monkey, and I got 2 of them instead of 1. But that's just me. That's just the diva in me.
When I go shopping, whatever's at that cash register, that's my business. It's none of your business. You can look at it all you want to. It's not your business, really. I don't care.
I would be, for me, because I think differently than most dudes out here. I am personally glad that you would buy the stuff, because that means you are taking care of yourself. Because there's some chicks out there who won't buy it.
Oh, I agree.
And I mean, some people need to buy it.
Oh wow!
I'm just saying, put it out there.
Let me just.
You don't like Captain D fish? Let me
just make
Captain
this.
D's, please.
Let me just make this last comment before we kind of transition. Getting a hit from the dating pool diva. She's saying that there's smarter ways to grow hair than using Monistat or any other chemical. Hair is like a plant. Nurture it with nutrients. And Steven is saying wigs cover up scalp too much, not allowing natural oils and air, sun to get through the hair to allow it to grow, natural heal itself. Disagree with that. I hate wigs. I think wigs are ridiculous. I hate wigs. But it's like wearing a hat. You don't keep the wig on all day. Take the hat off when you get home at night. So I do disagree with you on that, Stephen.
You okay?
It is what it is.
How about that, Rube?
It's like wearing a hat.
I have a wig. How do you feel about that, Rube? I have
not
a
a fan
long
of wigs
Beyonce wig.
No, that's that girl. What was that movie?
And I'm bald headed at night.
I ain't for all
I'm
that.
gonna get you, sucker.
And she took off the wig, took off the nails.
That's whack.
Ain't no how Steppin with Marcus J. We getting a call on the live line. This brother we ain't heard from in a while, and I'm happy and proud to bring back to Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J. I got my brother K-Dub on the line. What up, bro?
What up?
Hey.
What's going on, family?
What's up, man? What you got, man? What you want to get in on there? We've been hold up. We've been talking a lot of stuff to get in. So give us your hits real quick.
Well, what I wanted to do, man, was say basically that in regards to the Monistat 7, and there's a lot of other, I guess you could say, household products that can be used for multiple things. But the one thing that I would like probably people to realize, this goes with this particular product and other products, is that, Monistat 7, if I'm not mistaken, you use it for yeast infections, so on and so forth. I would caution people, or females I should say, who are using that particular product, because if you start to use that product on a regular basis, what could happen is that when you do have those yeast issues come about, that particular product you may not be able to use that product to take care of that situation, because we all know that if you use a product or anything a lot of times on your body starts to adapt to it, and it starts to change, and it will no longer fight what it initially was, I guess, put together to fight. Your body will not react to it if, in fact, it comes to the situation or the time where you need to use it for a yeast infection. So, just using that as an example is that you may want to kind of cautiously think about a number of these products that you use that have a lot of these chemicals in them. Me personally, it's well documented between you and I. I'm not a real fan of weaves or wigs, but who am I? I'm a guy. I can't, put that on anybody else. But I'm sure that there's other products that females use that are not necessarily, it's not intended for that particular use. I mean, shoot, if I'm not mistaken, Viagra Viagra was actually bumped up upon because it was actually being tested for one thing, and then they saw, oh wow, okay, we can use this to keep the yang up.
It was heart medicine. That's what it was. It was heart medicine.
There we go. Exactly. So, I'm not saying, all women not to use it, but I would caution everybody to think about a number of these things that we use for different reasons.
Last thing, I'm gonna have you get on. Give me one more comment on whatever else you got. Then we're gonna let you go.
I really ain't got nothing, man. I just want to say congratulations to you with your award this past week, and I apologize that I wasn't able to make the event, but you know as well as I do, I was there in spirit. And hey, man, peace and love to everybody, man.
That's what it is. My brother K-Dub is with us on the live line. Ain't no how stepping with Marcus J's on, man. It's good to talk to you, man. Thanks for checking in.
Yes, sir. Y'all be safe.
You got it. Peace. Ain't no how stepping with Marcus J. All right, here's what I want to do. I want to move on from the Monistat conversation in the hair thing, because I think we've kind of made everybody's opinion known. We all kind of understand where everybody's coming from. We can agree to disagree without being disagreeable. Last thing I want to get into in this particular segment is the whole thing about 300 sandwiches. Let's talk about it. Here's the situation. I'm paraphrasing the story, which I am personally familiar with. I'm gonna paraphrase it as I'm actually looking up the story, and then I can be a little bit more specific when I actually get it up. But this is a situation where if you've got a brother, white dude, a black woman, they're a couple. White dude in the couple, and they're not married or nothing. White dude is he's like a chef. And he does all the cooking, for his business, but he also does the cooking in the relationship. And he is joking one day about his lady, and he's like, you know what, you need to make me a sandwich. It'd be nice. I do all the cooking. I'm tired. I do all the cooking all the time. Why don't you make me a sandwich for a change? And so she made him a sandwich, and it was good. He was like, word, this is like the best sandwich in the world. He enjoyed it. Like, he legitimately enjoyed the sandwich. And so he jokes with her and says, man, if you made me 300 sandwiches just like this one, I promise you at the end of that 300 sandwiches, I will marry you. And so she flipped it and said, you know what? I know you was joking, but guess what? I'm finna make you 300 sandwiches for the next 300 days, and I'm going to get this ring. Now, here's the thing. You've had a lot of debate and discussions that have come from this, because you've had some women who took issue with the fact that she's doing this, suggesting that it's some sort of degrading thing that she's doing, in the sense that she is, subservient in a subservient type of role, making sandwiches for her man. And then you've got others that say, you know what, you go, girl, get that ring. And again, keep in mind that this whole thing was brought up in a kind of tongue-in-cheek type of situation. So I want my ladies in on this one. I want you on this one first. And as I've got the story, I've actually had the story up here in front of me. And I think based on now how I'm reading through the story, and I'm getting it from the New York Post, and she actually writes for the New York Post, I think I've sufficiently set it up properly. I'm actually looking at it. And if you want to see it, folks that are listening to us on social media, you can go to my personal fan page, my personal Facebook page, and it's there. But SY, based on the way I've set it up, my guess is you haven't heard the story before now, but I have set it up the way it's written here in the article. So let's talk about it. What's your thoughts?
I'm with her. Make the man 300 sandwiches. If my man said, if you gave me 300 of these, whatever it was, just like the first one, you can have 300. I don't care. I don't see where it's being subservient. The man likes the damn sandwich. Make him the sandwich, girl. I'm with you.
Toyana?
High five, 2 thumbs up.
Yep.
I'm going to make sandwiches,
Yep.
maybe 20 different ways of peanut butter and jelly, 12 ways of ham and cheese.
No, you're not. It's the same way as the last one.
Well, they always say to a man's heart is, through his stomach. And if he's telling her, a sandwich is making his heart grow fonder for her, I say go for it. I mean, that's all you have to do is make a sandwich. You don't have to do 4-course meals, baked desserts, and stilettos
sandwich.
I'll do it. All right, I love that. I'll take that.
Big Ro, what's your thoughts on this situation?
I think he's not asking for enough. I mean, 300 sandwiches, really? That's all? I mean,
He's probably gonna marry her anyway.
I mean, yeah, but that's different. It's different.
He was being facetious and ended up being a romantic, like,
Yeah, I
okay,
thought
let's
it
go
was
for the
cute.
challenge.
Man, it's romantic
I thought it
until
was
you get to
cute.
162, and then you're just like, man, I'm sick of this damn sandwich every day, you know. But don't get me wrong. I think that she is going about it an interesting way. However, I think that my fear is that she's gonna ride this 300 sandwich thing out, and as she rides this 300 sandwich thing out, there are gonna be other things that disappear from the relationship in itself. Because basically, he just said, "Yo, make me all these sandwiches, and I'll give you a ring." I mean, what about an actual relationship? I mean, it just.
Yeah, but I don't think it was meant to be that serious. It's not that
Well,
serious.
but the problem is she's taking it that serious, and if she's taking it that serious, then that's all that's going to fuel her brain
You've got
for
a
the next
couple.
300 days.
You've got a couple. He just said, "Man, baby, this sandwich is good. You make me 300. He's gonna marry you, girl." That's all it is.
We're getting a hit from the dating pool.
That's all it
Diva
is.
says, hope she's not disappointed at the end of 300 days because it was a joke. So she may hold him to the promise, and he runs for the hills with all those sandwiches, and she's just LOL. So she's laughing out loud. So I think she means that as a joke. And then she continues, cooking for a man is not a challenge for her, but she's single, so that is not always the way to a man's heart. I 100% agree with SY on this one, Rube. I think you out your mind for taking it that serious, to be honest with you, because the reality is the way it was set up was, you know, he's a chef, so he make his own sandwich, you know, but the fact of the matter is, you know, he was like, baby, make me a sandwich, and she was like, all right, I'll make you a sandwich, and he enjoyed the sandwich, so he was like, you know what, man, if you make me 300 of these, I might just marry you. You know, it was kind of said in jest. And her being the entrepreneurial person that she is, in a situation where she has an audience, writing for the New York Post, wrote a blog about it. And the blog is what caught on fire and became a piece for discussion amongst people like us. I think it's people like us who are making this a big deal. And I'll be honest with you. When I said, you know what, we're going to talk about this, I knew that the conversation, because I knew what my opinion would be. And I had a guess of what the opinions, because I knew the dynamics of who we would have in the room. And, you know, two of you said exactly what I thought you would say, and one of you was completely opposite of what I thought. And I won't tell you who said what, but what I will say is this. I think that where we lose, and that's why I was going to talk a little bit more about this when we get into her segment, which is coming right after this piece here, how to take care of your lady. But I think where you lose people is you get so many people that say no. Like, no, you whack as hell for saying no. I'm sorry, you just are. If you're in a situation when you're in a relationship with someone and someone is telling you what their needs are, what they need, and you the only game in town, you know, because if you're not the only game in town, then they stepping out, and if they stepping out, then you got to deal with that shit. But if you're the only game in town and someone's telling you, look, baby, all I need you to do is make me a sandwich. How about you make me a sandwich in them stilettos? That would be cool for me. How about you make a sandwich in a nice teddy? Even if you took it there, which is not what the situation is here, but even if you took it there, what's so difficult about doing something that your partner wants you to do, because it will make them happy, because you know that eventually it should be reciprocated back to you? What's the problem with that?
Well, I didn't say no. I said that I don't think that. I think my opinion is, I think what's going to happen is the sandwich thing is going to take a life of its own, and then she may choose to not do other things as relationships happen.
I don't think that it's fair to assume that, though. We're talking about
that's
one. I get that's your opinion, but you know, your opinion is been put in front of us to debate and to dissect. So I'm gonna make this last point, and Toyana, I want you in right next to me. But that assumes that is the only thing going on in that relationship, whereas these two people are foreign to us. This particular aspect of their conversation or their relationship has been made public knowledge, but we don't know what the hell else is going on with them. So for us to assume that the sandwich thing is the only thing going on with them, and it's going to take a life of their own. I think is a little bit. I think that's a stretch, Toyana.
Yeah, I think it really goes with the couple itself. I think that there's been probably a situation that you've had in a relationship or so where your significant other maybe said something and you knew they were joking, and you're like, oh really? You really for real about that? Okay, well, let's see how far this will go. And no one gets hurt. And I don't look at this as being negative. I don't look at this as being sexist or fetish. I look at it as being, if a guy said, Toyana, all you have to do is make me sandwiches because I want to marry you. Whether I make the best ones 150 days out of it and the other ones turn out crappy, the point is that I want to do something to please him. And I think that's where I'm getting out of it, that she wants to let her man know, okay, if sandwiches is what you want, sandwiches is what I want to get. But I don't think she's going to use over his head.
So, Rube, if I cleaned your house really good, you won't say, baby, you clean my house like this 100 more times, I'm going to marry you.
And how many men do that?
And you know you like your house clean.
You know, like, you cook like my mom. Or, I'll marry her.
You know you like it when she cleans the house. You know it.
Or she iron your shirts for work.
What'd you say last week? Yeah.
Or she talks Spanish to you every Friday.
Ooh, and she calls him Papi.
Ooh, Papi.
Chulo. I don't know. I've never been called
Ain't
Papi.
too many,
Yo,
ain't too many brothers around that would get a little bit weak when a woman call him Papi.
Oh, Papi.
You call him Papi.
Because I was just a muros.
We got any mommies listening to us? We got any mommies listening
hablas
to us?
español?
Call us up and speak that Spanish. 804-402-2893. You know who you are.
I'm anxious to see what happens on day 300 at this point. I am. I'm very anxious to see what happens on day 300.
You've never done it.
He's going to give her a ring.
Rube, you've never said or been in a situation where you
But
yourself...
this isn't about me.
I know it's not about you, but have you ever experienced... that? I probably experienced somebody who has done something, a little bit off. It wasn't crass, but, he was like, okay, babe, if you, did such and such... And I'm not going to get into it because Marcus is looking. But anyway, it's one of those favors that instead of getting on Fridays, that person won that favor on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays. And I was okay in doing that because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to please my man. Did I think he was going to marry me or whatever the case may be or buy me a ring or whatever? No. But the point is that I wanted to please him at that point in time in my relationship.
However, that is not my point. My point is, one, is she going to do it for 300 days straight? One. That's the first point. And then two, maybe I say, well, hey, you do it for 300 days. What if dude says, all right, and don't give her a ring, then it's whatever. Then two, what if other things suffer because of this? Now, once again, I'm just playing devil's advocate. It's not really about me or whatever. I think it's interesting that she is blogging about this every day. To me, because that's a big deal, I personally I'm curious to see how this ends up because, I'm a hopeless romantic and all, but I'm also like, nah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
You're a hopeless romantic. I want to hear this part. Where have you hopelessly romantic on for 360 days?
The person I'm hopelessly romantic with. I don't need a sandwich. I just need that person.
But see, the point of the
But I understand the point. I'm just saying.
I know you get it.
Y'all like bash me. I'm just like,
we're not bashing you. Well, at least I'm not bashing you. The point that I guess the final point that I'll make on the subject is I'm not bashing you. I understand where you're coming from. I just happen to disagree with you. The thing of the matter is, I think the whole sandwich thing simulates for other people in other relationships what the sandwich could be for them. The sandwich could be those favors that you are referring to. The sandwich could be, I hate taking out the trash, even though it's my job. Do it for me once a week. And the sandwich could be, flipped on the dude doing things for her. How about you do laundry for me this month? You know what I mean? So it could be flipped. The sandwich is a representative of whatever the thing is in the individual relationship? Are you willing to go the extra mile to show your partner that you will do anything it takes to make them happy? If you are, then you're all right with Marcus J. If you're not, then I got issues with you. Ain't no how stepping with Marcus J. We're going to take a break. We're going way over, y'all, but we still got 2 more segments to get to. So stay with us tonight. We got SY coming up.
I want a sandwich.
We got SY coming up in the next segment. She's going to tell the fellas how to take care of their lady. Marcus J. Ain't no how stepping. Stay with us.